All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the world's first entry point freelancers cut challenge tier list. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Originally I was gonna do all the 3 missions that are currently in the game, but I decided to just do the 1 mission at a time because that way, when the new missions come out, I can just do one video and then uh, yeah, have all the challenges be on one tier list. Um, That being said, the tiers are not like exclusive to the mission. Like if I think a challenge is S tier in here, like if I were to put every challenge in the game into the same tier list, they would all probably still be in the same tiers. Um, because overall what I'm ranking them on is pretty much the same. I'm just ranking them on like the amount of creativity that was put into the idea, like how cool is it? Do I think that they thought of that? How well does it showcase the different routes in the mission, a mission, or a route that you might not have normally taken, because that's the ultimate. Like that's really the main purpose of the challenges. This is just like, make you change your skill tree a little bit and change your planning a little bit and kind of discover things about the missions that you might not have known before. That's why I think it's really beneficial to do the challenges instead of buying credibility. Because even though some of them are pretty difficult, a lot of them are also like very important to do, so that you're like more familiar with the mission and stuff. You know, so that's one of the things I'm going to be ranking them on as well. And also, I'm just going to be ranking them on how fun they are as well. I mean, obviously that one seems kind of self-explanatory. It's a little bit separate from the other ones, but I do think it's important that even if a challenge is a good idea, it's not necessarily like really fun to play. You know, if it was a cool concept, but it actually like sucks to do just because of the way the mission is designed, I'm probably still not going to place it that high because I just don't like replaying it that much. And I didn't like it when I did it the first time, whatnot. You know, so that's what I'm going to be ranking them on. And again, even though they are separate tier lists, you can really consider them all to be on the same like scale, pretty much. And I'm gonna record the other 2 later today. So yeah, I'm just gonna upload all 3 today, and then when the new missions come out, I'll just do them probably a couple days after they come out, just so I can have some time to experience the challenges and get used to them. And then yeah, I kind of want to do this for every mission in the game, so I think it'll be pretty fun. But without further ado, I'm not gonna be showing them on here. I'm gonna be showing them in the game because um, the website that I'm using doesn't really like these screenshots. It obviously is not really showing um very much of the title. So you can still tell what each one is, but like I even tried like putting them in landscape images instead of just having square images. I tried cropping them in different ways, and I just couldn't get it to like be a good screenshot. So I'm just gonna be showing them on here. But then when it comes to actually placing them in the tiers, then I'll do it on here. So anyway, starting off, back entrance. Get access to the stairwell behind the bank. So what this is this is pretty much what everyone does at the beginning of their runs now, depending on the challenge. Some challenges might require you to go in and bluff first, but the majority of the time you're probably going to do this in every run. You just go to the right from spawn, you jump over the fence, and then there's a camera watching a metal door, and you can either shoot it or you can avoid it. Um, but you just have to get into the stairwell. You can also complete the challenge by going in through the bank and then going through the vent or going through the alarm door with the garage. But anyway, yeah. This challenge is not like it's not really anything special. It's not like a mind-blowing challenge or anything, but I would say that it is like a pretty important first step. Like I'm glad that this is the first thing to do because it is probably the thing that you're going to be doing the most. Like it's the most likely first step you're going to take when you're doing a stealth deposit challenge. Um, yeah, with that being said, I'm kind of surprised that it's not stealth only because there's pretty much no reason to go back there. in loud. But I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if all you're doing is getting access. It shouldn't really restrict you to leaving in stealth as well. But yeah, it's a pretty important one to do. I'm glad that it's the first one. Overall, though, not really like anything special or mind blowing as a challenge. So I'm probably gonna put it in like B tier. I'm not gonna put it lower than that because it's you know, it's good. It's good that it exists, but it's not super impressive. All right, burning time. Use a thermite to get into the vault. Now this is good that it exists with where is it? Unshaken Plans. Yeah, it's good that both of these exist. I like that Unshaken Plans is the one that has it gives you more credibility. Where this one is only for operative, just because it's like the more simple route. You know, it has like less facets to it. But what I like about the game is that a lot of the time, the more complex route that has a lot more things going into it will end up being more beneficial in a lot of ways once you get it down, or like once you get the amount of perks that you need to do it. So like every mission will have a simple route like this. Like if you don't have, if you don't have very many speed ag perks, or if it's this like it's kind of overwhelming to like run around the map and like authorize the override and find the vault code and the vault key card, make sure the manager doesn't escape. For new players, a lot of that might seem a little bit overwhelming, especially as hacking in general. It seems like it's kind of overwhelming for a lot of new players. So, this exists. Just, you can do this if you want. You can just take a direct approach and just kind of burn your way in. But it has its downsides. The downsides are the hostage timer has a limit. You can't physically get into the vault before the SWAT come in because the thermite makes them nervous, and so they just start the assault early. Right? You also don't get the cash from the vault. It's also a little bit slower if you have the maximum amount of efficient algorithms perks. The hack is a little bit faster. So yeah, there are benefits to both. I'm glad that they both exist as options because there are benefits to both. But yeah, overall, I like this is the challenge. I'm probably gonna put it in B tier as well, though, just because again, it's not like super mind blowing. I'm just glad that it exists. Like I wouldn't remove it from the game if I could, even though I never use this route now that I've already completed the challenge, unless I'm helping someone else that needs it. I'm glad that it exists, and I'm glad that the option to do that exists. Yeah, and I'm glad that Plan A is kind of a more of like a more of an ideal, more kind of viable than it was in the original entry point. I'm glad that they did that. Made a lot of much needed changes to the mission, even though the deposit was actually one of the better missions in the original entry point. Yeah. So yeah, I like Burning Time and I like Back Entrance. Moving on to Classic Mistake. Trigger the alarm by forgetting about the heat centers. This one, I'm not so sure about. I guess it's kind of funny. Classic mistake. It is kind of a classic mistake. A lot of people, when they were first getting into entry point, a lot of people have probably made that mistake. Even I have, like, honestly, like, kind of recently. Like sometimes it just happens. It just slips your mind. I'm not really sure how I feel about it being a challenge, though, just because, um, it kind of, I mean, even the description of the challenge is trigger the alarm by forgetting about the heat sensors, but you're not forgetting about the heat sensors. You're intentionally doing it because of the challenge, right? So it's not really a classic mistake. It's like recreating the events of a classic mistake on purpose, which I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure that I like. It also I kind of like the idea of like improvising loud. Like after you fail stealth, you kind of have to improvise loud. And normally you probably wouldn't even do that. Normally you'd probably reset if you failed stealth. So it's kind of like, I guess it's kind of a good thing that they're like making you continue loud after, failing stealth. Ultimately, though, I think if you're going to improvise that, it should be like actually improvised and it shouldn't be like planned. You know what I mean? Like if it were really going to be a classic mistake, it would be an actual mistake that you made, and then you would improvise your way out of it. That would be good gameplay, but like, there's no way for Sashado to really implement that as like an intentional thing that you do. because it's like, I mean, it's a challenge. You're going out of your way to do it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't really think this challenge needs to exist. I don't really think it showcases anything important because obviously, I mean, it's always going to be a possibility that you forget about the heat sensors, but like, you don't really benefit anything from doing that. The only reason that you would ever do that on purpose is to do this challenge. So, you know, I mean, I guess it's kind of cool as like a little reference. There's a Freelancer challenge as well where it kind of references an original thing from Entry Point, which I'll get into when I get to the Freelancer video. But yeah, honestly, I don't really care for this challenge. I'm not gonna put it in D tier because it's not like horrible. There are some challenges that I think are like actually so not fun to do that I'm probably gonna put those ones in D tier. I didn't think I needed an F tier because there aren't any challenges that are like so abhorrently bad that they like make me hate the game. You know what I mean? Most of the time, I'm still happy to even be playing Entry Point Freelancer's Guide, because I just really like the game. But there is at least one challenge I'm thinking of that can go in D tier. I don't think there are any D tier challenges for this mission though. I guess it's kind of a spoiler though. Anyway, I'm putting Classic Mistake in C tier. I don't think it needs to exist. It could have been replaced by something a little bit more interesting, I think. Anyway, covering tracks. Close the vault before leaving the mission. This one, I don't have too much to say about it. What I like the most about it is that it shows that you have the option to close the vault, even though you have no real reason to do that, except in one other mission. And that mission is Undisturbed Occupants, or the challenge, where you aren't allowed to take out anyone, so you can't clear the basement. That is why I think covering tracks is a really good challenge to do first. It's really good that they have that early on because it sets you up for this one. If you do that earlier on, you know that you can close the vault. So when you're thinking about ways that you could do undisturbed documents, like how can I make sure they don't see the vault when the distraction ends? Oh, well, I know that I can close it because I did it in this one. So I think that's a really good way of setting that up. Obviously, not everyone is going to do it because some people just kind of like skip to the hardest ones, because they're like, I understand the game. I don't need time to learn. I'm just going to brute force everything. But ultimately, we all know that's not a very good way of learning the game. So I think this is a very good one to have early on. I'm gonna put it still in B tier though, because again, it's not like super anything special. I really want A to be like really fun challenges that I like actually like really like playing, and S tier is just like the perfect like peak. You know, I mean obviously I kind of just stated the obvious there. Like A and S are the best tiers, but like I just don't think it's quite A. Even though I do like it, it's again like not something that I'm just doing for fun. You know what I mean? Or not something like when I see someone make a lobby and they're like, oh, I need to do covering tracks. I'm not like, oh, yippee, right? I'm just kind of like, okay, whatever. Anyway, next one we got full takeover. Compromise every computer in the mission. Again, this is not one that you're just going to be like doing. It doesn't really showcase a route that you're going to be taking in like every run, but it does show every mission or every computer in the mission that can be compromised. It kind of forces you to like look around the map a little bit. And I think challenges like that are good. I think every part of the map should be explored via challenges. That's my opinion. I don't think there should be any room in the map that you don't ever go to when you're doing the challenges, right? Because it should be showcasing all of it. And so I think it's really good that there's a challenge where you just compromise every computer in the mission. Although I do think it could have been made a little bit better, like you could be actually like using them. What if it was like deploy a hack on every computer in the mission instead of just accessing them? You know what I mean? That could have been a little bit more interesting. Could have required you to bring a little bit different perks, like you maybe need more resources. Um, you know, or it could have just been done in a way that's like you need to compromise every computer on the mission to do it, like deploy X amount of hacks. You know what I mean? And not let you just like remove a hack and then add another one, or like remove a hack and add it back in order to do that. Like you have to actually deploy this amount of unique hacks, and that would require you to access every computer in the mission, but it doesn't outright say that. I think something like that would have maybe been a better way to do it, but still, I think this is a good challenge. I'm going to put it in the B tier for mostly the same reasons as all these other B tier ones. It's Payday, escape the mission with the cash from the vaults. Yeah, this one, Again, same logic as Classic Mistake. I'm not going to put it in D tier because it's not like painful to do or anything, but I am going to put it in C tier because it's just so like you don't need a challenge to tell you to do that. You know what I mean? If you go into the vault and you see the money there, you're like if you need the money, you're just going to take it, and if you don't, you're probably just not going to take it. But like you don't need a challenge to tell you to do that. You know what I mean? It's not really showcasing anything interesting, so I don't really think that challenge needs to exist. I also have barely anything to say about it. Anyway, packing lights. This is a challenge that's not unique to the deposit. It's also in the financer. I think spoilers for the financer tier list, but I do think it's a little bit better in the financer. It has more of an effect on the outcome of the mission, mostly just because like it's harder to conceal your weapons, so it kind of eliminates pre-stealth or makes pre-stealth like very difficult. So it kind of adds more of like a thought process on the financer. But in this particular mission, in the deposit, I don't think packing light is very interesting. It doesn't really showcase anything unique about the mission. It's just kind of like whatever. You know what I mean? Which isn't, I guess, necessarily a bad thing. There are certain challenges that I think are very good, even certain challenges that I might put in S tier, that don't necessarily showcase a route in the mission, but are just like really good to do, and kind of just make you better at the game if you do them. So I'm not necessarily going to place a low just because it's not like necessary. But overall, I don't find it that interesting in a deposit. I think it's more interesting in later missions. All right, Silent Safecracker. Practice save and complete the mission in stealth. This one, I'm just not really sure why it's stealth only. I think the only reason this is stealth only is because the only creative name they could think of was Silent Safecracker. They couldn't think of a name other than just like obviously you can just name it Safecracker because that's kind of stupid, but like, I don't really see the need for this to be stealth only. I mean, you're probably only going to do it in stealth anyway. So I guess it doesn't really matter if it's stealth only, but like, whatever. Anyway, cracking the save and complete the mission in stealth. It's good. It's good that it shows you. It shows that there's a safe that you can crack, and it shows what's in the safe. I do think though there could have been again another creative way to do it, and I'll give another idea for this. I was thinking of something like Key Collector, where you have to collect all the keys. Maybe you could have a challenge because key cards in this game don't take up inventory space. So what you could do is have a challenge similar to Key Collector, where you collect every key card in the map. And that would include both the vault key cards. That would also require you to use Safecracker on this. You know what I mean? That might be like kind of a more interesting way to do it than this, but it also might be a little bit convoluted. I can see why people wouldn't really like that. Also, not everyone knows how you can pickpocket key cards from people if you're already holding it. What you can do is drop it on the ground and then you can pickpocket them. Which is kind of like an unconventional strategy. I'm not surprised that they don't have a challenge that like teaches you how to do that, but it is a good thing to know. So I think the challenge might be a little bit better if it was something like that, but that's just my opinion. I can definitely see arguments against that. Overall, I'm gonna put it in like B tier. I don't think it's terrible, but it's like whatever. Anyway, spam caller. These are not. Where's spam caller? Oh, here it is. This is spam caller. It's in the wrong place. Anyway, yeah, spam caller. Ignore hostage negotiations. This is one where it again doesn't really showcase a route. It does showcase like an effect of a choice that you make. Like Rose has dialogue about it, and obviously taking hostages is pointless. The SWAT come in early, so it does showcase like a feature of the mission that's unique to the mission. But for the most part, it's just kind of something that's there as like a challenge, just to like challenge yourself. You know what I mean? I think it's fine. I think it's fine. It's whatever. I'll put it in B tier. I think overall it's like kind of the only challenge other than burning time where you'd want to use the thermite. In my opinion, I prefer Plan A most of the time, but I think Plan B would probably be a little bit better for spam caller just because you don't have to spend as much time upstairs. You can just go down to the basement as soon as you place it. So yeah, I guess in that sense it's kind of cool because it makes you do a route that you don't normally do, but overall it's just like an alright challenge. Unexpected meeting. Get the manager to go to the large conference room. I don't really know why it's the large conference room and not just any conference room. I feel like the player could have just used common sense to deduce which conference room would be the best. because there's only 3 conference rooms in the map, and only one of them is like completely secluded. So obviously they would be like, oh, I get to choose which one it is. Well, let's see which one is the farthest away from everyone, right? It's also not even like that much larger than the other ones. Like it's called a large conference room. I've never heard anyone other than the description of this challenge refer to it as the large conference room because it's not really known for its size. It's known for how far away it is from everything else. So that's kind of just a weird description for it. So I think personally, I think the challenge would be better if it was literally just get the manager to go to any conference room. It would cause you to do a little bit more thinking. It also wouldn't have this unclear description of like large conference room. Which one is the large one? I don't know. I mean, it is larger than the other ones, but it's not like that much larger. Anyway, I think it is like, what the fuck? This one is out of. Wait, this one. Wait, this is wrong number. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Let's figure this out. I put these in the wrong order somehow. Okay, spam forward there, and then we're gonna put this one in B tier, yeah. So what's the next one? Vigilant Eyes. Okay, Vigilant Eyes is here. Okay. Okay. Eventually, when I do enough of these, they're gonna be in the right order again. But for now, we're gonna have to like keep an eye out. Anyway, Vigilant Eyes. Don't take out the camera operator. This one is cool, but it's like, I mean, it does show you that you can loot cams, and it is a good thing to know how to do that. And it's good that it shows you that on the first mission. So I'm glad that the challenge isn't just take out cameras. It's specifically don't take out the camera operator. You are allowed to use the camera loop. I'm glad that you're allowed to use the loop because it shows you what the loop is. You know, this is the first mission that most people are playing, so it's like, you know, it's good to show that. It's good to make them think like, what other route can I take? Like, how can I deal with cameras other than that? Let me check the server to see if there are any hacks that I can use. Oh yeah, I can loop cameras. That's kind of good. But overall, it's not like incredible or anything. I don't think it's like that crazy. It might be the closest to A tier that we've gotten so far, but nah, I'm still probably gonna put it in B tier. Because I still want these top two to be special, you know, for really special ones. Anyway, the next one is wrong number. Wrong number. So this is the one that I accidentally put because I thought it was spam callers, so I put it early. Anyway, wrong number. This is the one where everyone asks about it in FSC. Everyone is like, how do you do wrong number? You know what I mean? Because Sashado made the mistake of not making it extremely clear how you do it. I don't think I'm being sarcastic. I don't think they actually made a mistake doing that. I think it's good that they tried to get people's brains working, but unfortunately, they didn't actually use their brains anyway. They just decided to just constantly ask about it. Yeah, even though I think it was actually like made pretty clear. Like it's called wrong number. Where could you possibly input a wrong number? The vault keypad, right? So it's just kind of like it's whatever. I don't think it's like that great of a challenge though. I just kind of wanted to rant about that for a little bit. Like I think it's stupid how many people ask about how to do it. I think it's pretty obvious how you do it, but as a challenge, I don't think it's really anything special. I'd probably put it in like C tier. I mean, it's not even like helpful information, you know, because you can only open the vault if you have you definitely need the code and the card. I'm pretty sure you need the ID too to even interact with the keypad. I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure you need all three to even interact with the keypad. And so like it's not even really helpful information to know that you can lure them down using that. But I guess it does show you the consequences if you do make the mistake. So I guess it's something, but I'm gonna put it in C tier. Next up we got Archive Examiner. Archive Examiner. Disable the heat sensors by drilling them. This one is good because the title of the challenge is really good. And because it like explains how you do it. It doesn't specifically explain in a description what you need to do to get to this point, but you look at the title and you're like, oh, I should probably examine the archives. You know what I mean? Overall, not the craziest challenge ever. Again, it's just showcasing a route. I don't really want to put anything that like only has value in that sense above B tier. You know, because I want to save A and S for the ones that I want to save A for the ones that are fun to like replay, and I want to save S for the ones that are like really fun to replay. You know, So I'm probably gonna put this in the B tier. One thing though that I do actually want to talk about, and it's not strictly related to the challenge, but I think now is like the best time to talk about it. When you hack Maddox Gray's computer, or when you hack a server room to get the ID, you still have to search both archive rooms to get the blueprints. I think that's kind of dumb, in my personal opinion. I think if you already have the ID, there should at least be a chance that you can get the blueprints from the first one that you search. There could at least be a chance. There can also, like, it would be fine if there was also a chance that you have to search both. But, like, while I do think it's fine that you have to get the ID first before you get the blueprints, I think if you already have the ID, you should be able to get the blueprints from the first search. Just because, like, I mean, what would be wrong with that? I mean, it kind of defeats, like, if you're gonna get the blueprints, it defeats the point of even doing the hack, because you have to search both archive rooms anyway. So, like, if you're gonna do that, you might as well search that for the ID. So, like, what's even the point of doing the hack if you're gonna do sensor shutdown, right? I just think that's kind of weird game design, but whatever. But I already put it. Okay, archive examiner is going in B. Next, Blitz Bank. Complete the mission in 5 minutes. This one is good. I think that it might have been better if it were placed a little bit later on, after a couple more stealth ones. Although I do think that at this point you probably do have a pretty good feel for the mission. I just think, you know, it might have been better not to be like given more credibility, but just might be like they could have put it a little bit later just to like guarantee that you like are very familiar with the mission, you're very comfortable with it. Because ultimately the challenge isn't very hard to do. If you know the layout of the map and you know what objectives you need to do, you can do it pretty consistently. Like I would say the deposit is like consistently under 5 minutes for, you know, most players. But, you know, as a challenge, it doesn't really showcase anything, but it does test your like ability to like memorize things and think on your feet, and it does test your like comfortability, your comfort level with the mission. I think Blitz Bank is a really good challenge. I think actually, I might put it in A. Honestly, I think Blitz Bank is a really good challenge. It would, I mean, it would be really annoying if it was like a speed run, like legitimate speed run that was like RNG dependent. Because if you're an actual speed runner, you know that speedruns are heavily RNG dependent. They're going to cause you to reset a lot. And for Blitz Bank, fuck, I always fuck up saying it. For Blitz Bank, if you're good at the game and you're good at the mission, you're generally going to be pretty consistent with it. If you're like kind of a beginner and this is like your first time doing the challenge, you might have to reset a couple times, but I think it's fine. It's just really good that they didn't make it like under 3 minutes, because that would cause you to reset like a lot if you're not like really good at the game. You know what I mean? Yeah, and then anything under that would have been like guaranteed like RNG reliance. It's just kind of, I think they just chose a really good time. I think 5 minutes is like the perfect time for that challenge to be. And honestly, you know what? Yeah, I'm putting this in A tier. I think it's a really good challenge. I think it, you know, while it doesn't like showcase anything new about the mission necessarily, it does like test your skill level with the mission. You know what I mean? And I think that's a good thing. But I also, again, think that it should have been placed like a little bit later, because like this is what most of these are. These mostly do not really showcase anything about the mission. These are pretty much all just testing your ability with it. But again, I think the credibility that it gives is fine, because it's not a very hard one, but it's a test, you know. But yeah, I'm putting it in A there. Anyway, budget operation, complete the mission with a team loadout cost of $600 or less. This one fucking sucks, because it literally the loadout cost applies to all your teammates for some reason. So like, there's literally no reason to do it with teammates. You're obviously gonna end up doing it solo. If you're doing it with teammates, like basically like all the other people are gonna bring nothing, and you're gonna bring the one thing that you're allowed to bring. It's just like, I don't know what the point of doing that was. Like, this is literally just Resourceful Robber is literally just a better example of the same concept, basically. You know, I mean, when I did budget operation, I pretty much just brought a gun and that was it, right? So you pretty much, I did do Resourceful Robber with that. So like, it's just kind of, I don't know. I don't think, where the fuck even is it? Stupid ass challenge. Fuck you. Budget operation. It's like whatever. It might have been a cool concept like later on for like later missions where you have to bring like a lot more gear. Maybe they could have raised the loadout cost. Because honestly, I just don't think this is a very good challenge for this particular mission. Like, because $600 is too little for your teammates to be bringing anything. But if you raised it like any significant amount, then it would probably just like not change the mission at all. So like maybe for like later on, maybe at like Black Dusk or something, you know, you're gonna have 4 players bringing like full loadouts of gear, and like budget operation might be a better challenge for something like that. But for deposit, I don't think it's that good. But it's also again not like super painful, so I'm gonna put it in C. Not gonna put it quite in D, but I don't think it needs to exist. It's super boring. Clean hands. Complete the mission without any kills. Yeah, this one's alright. It's whatever. Put it in B. And I think it's better than the C tier ones, but it's, I know I can say most of the same things that I would say about the C tier ones about it. Like it's just kind of there. I don't really have much to say about it either. It's whatever. Compromised management. To get the vault code from the manager's computer. I don't know why this is a legend challenge. I don't know why this would need to give you this much credibility. They could have probably replaced Vigilant Eyes. They could have let Vigilant Eyes give you a legend credibility, and then have this go only up to operative. I think that would have been better. Yeah, though this is like, it's like whatever. It just seems like a beginner challenge. I'm not really sure why this is placed so late. But it's just kind of like a beginner challenge, so I'm just gonna put it in B, because it's like it's pretty much the same as all these other ones that are also in B, where it's just showcasing something about the mission. It's not like particularly interesting to do. It's just like, you know, letting you know that you have the ability to do that. You know, which is good. I mean, it's good that you know to do that, because a lot of the time you are going to be getting the vault code from the manager's computer, but like, it's kind of whatever. Essential personnel. Don't pacify the security lead or the manager. What do you think about this one? What do you think about this one? Don't pacify the security lead or the manager. Yeah, I'm just kind of trying to think of reasons to put it above B. I'm putting a lot of challenges in B, and I understand that, but you know, I mean, B isn't bad. B is like, I'm glad that this challenge is in the game. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad this exists. It's good. It showcases things about the mission that are good. You know what I mean? Like, I don't hate B. I'm not hating on it. I'm just trying to be harsh. Like, I don't want to put the ones that I don't really care or think about in ARS. You know what I mean? Essential personnel, I'm like, I don't really think this needs to go higher than B either. It's kind of like whatever. I mean, it's, you know, I mean, it's like B teetering on C, because like what, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of unique, I guess. I'm keeping it in B. I'm keeping it in B, but it's whatever. Expert negotiator. Start hostage negotiations with 10 or more hostages. Okay, so this is kind of like the opposite of spam caller. I get same thing that I said about that other one. I think spam caller probably should have gone up to legend, and then this one should have just stayed on operative. Because this isn't really hard to do. This is just like, I think the operative ones are mostly the ones that are just showing the basics of the mission. And getting more hostages is like a good idea. Like that's something that you should be doing. It's also not hard to do. You just have to like wait in the lobby to get 10. But like this is just something that you should be doing in every mission. And I think the ones that you should be doing in like every run, where applicable, should probably be the operative ones. And then the ones that are like actually a little bit difficult, those should be the legend ones. So spam caller should probably be legend, in my opinion. But yeah, this one, where even is it? Oh, expert negotiator. Yeah, I mean it's whatever. I'm putting it in B. I mean, it doesn't even like really showcase anything important, because obviously you know that like getting more hostages is better. That's just kind of common sense. So like, I don't know. I think this should be an operative challenge personally, but whatever. Keep calm. Don't let the alert level rise above calm. Yeah, this is going in the B tier. This is going in the B tier. I realize I'm not trying to like skip past these without saying much, but like, I just don't really have much to say about these. Like, it's kind of, you know, I'm also kind of wanting to like speedrun to get to the ones that I really want to talk about too. They're at the end. Key collector. I actually like this one. I like key collector. I collect the archive key, office key, master key. It's good because it showcases each key and it showcases what they do, you know? Because once you have each key, I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory what they do. The archive key unlocks the archives, the office key unlocks the office. Although you don't really know what offices. You know, you might have thought there are some exceptions. There are no exceptions because it unlocks every office, but you know, you at least when you have it in your possession, you get to test what the office key actually does, and the master key. So it's good that it makes you, you know, have those in your possession at one point. I'm probably not gonna put it in A tier, but I like Key Collector. I like it. I think it's a good challenge. It's a nice little fun thing. Kind of reminds me of the Scavenger Hunt challenge in the Withdrawal, where you collect all the key cards on the ground. Like those, they're not obviously, you know, they're not like insanely memorable, but they're just kind of like fun little things to do. And I think this is a fun way to kind of show off every key that's in the map. And it's also a good one because I don't think I've talked about this yet, but like challenges that you can do with other challenges are also really good. You know what I mean? And this is one that like you kind of go out of your way in the mission to do it, but it doesn't like you can't just like you know I mean you can, but you're not intended to just finish the mission only doing this one and then redo a whole um shit redo like the entire mission to just do another one that's like fucking you know essential personnel. Like you could do essential personnel and key collector at the same time very easily, and you know it's kind of good that challenges like that happen later on because you're kind of familiar with the mission. You're like, oh well, if I do this and I do this, then I could like you know I could probably do these two at the same time. That's kind of like encourages you to think a little bit. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's kind of just like a fun scavenger hunt. You know, I like it. I like it, but I'm putting it in B tier. Restricted area, I actually like a lot. I like restricted area a lot. It makes you think. First of all, it gives a use for electrical engineering. You know, which is good. Even though it's like pretty much the only use for electrical engineering. Like if you're not gonna get EE3, I would not get electrical engineering 1 or 2 for this mission. Just because it's kind of not really helpful at all. Even then though, it's good that it shows off like what to do, and I'm glad that it doesn't tell you like use the fire exit on the first or on the top floor. It just says stay out of the first floor of the bank, so you have to actually like look around and be like, oh, what can I do to do this? I also like it because there's a way to do it without electrical engineering that's really funny. If you just shoot the manager while they're at the window, you can just fucking get the key card that way, and then you can access the access point in the basement to get the code and ID. Uh, yeah, I think that's really funny, but overall, obviously, the challenge is intended to showcase the electrical engineering route. I think it's good. It does it in a very good way. It's an interesting concept. Yeah, I'm gonna put restricted area in A tier. Honestly, I think it's a a really good challenge. It's really good. All right, Sleepy Security. Have 6 different guards knocked out at the same time. I think the number should be raised. Personally, I'm probably gonna end up putting this in the B tier. If the number was raised to like 8 or 9 guards, then maybe I think it would be a little bit more interesting. I understand that would make it like kind of unconventional as well, because while challenges they are meant to be challenging and they are meant to test you a little bit, I don't think they're entirely meant to be like super unconventional. Like you're not really intended to like take out every NPC in the entire map. You know what I mean? And if you're gonna take out every guard, you're probably gonna have to take out every employee too to be safe. At the same time, though, I just think 6 is kind of a boring number because I mean, if you clear the basement, you got 4. And then you can just kind of wait in the security room for the head of security. Then you take him out and you take out the camera operator, and that's 6. There you go. Like, it's not really that interesting. You know what I mean? So I think the number could definitely be raised, and that might have actually put it up in the A tier. But as of right now, I'm probably gonna put it in B. Sniper Assassin. Okay, so this is certainly one of the more unique ones in the entire game. Not sure if it's one of my actual favorites though. It's just kind of like it's a good concept. It definitely is a good concept. I'm not really sure if it was executed the best though. I think what Sashano's intention was for you to wait for the head of security to be in the security room, snipe him and the camera operator, then use the hack to lure out the vault guard to the stairs, then shoot them while they're on the stairs. I think that was their intention. Ultimately though, it's just a really inconvenient way of doing it. The better way of doing it is to get hostages, or just take everyone in the basement hostage, or just knock them out. That also works if you're in solo, because you can't stay with them, so they run away. But yeah, you can just knock them out and put them on the top of the stairs and just shoot them like that. And that's just like the better way of doing it. And I'm not really sure if that's what Shishato thought of. I'm not sure if they intended people to do that or not, but it's just kind of like it's kind of annoying to do, honestly, especially with the civilians too. You have to wait for there to not be any civilians. If you weren't able to do that, if the actual way that you had to do it was taking out the people in the control room and taking out the vault guard by luring them, I'm pretty sure that was the intended route. I'm just thinking about it, and that makes the most sense to me. But if that was the intention, that would fucking suck because of civilians. You would have to wait. If the head of security went into the control room and there were a ton of civilians, you still couldn't do it. And then what if he left the control room and you just weren't able to shoot him while he was in there because of civilians? That would be so annoying. And then you only get to lure the vault guard or the vault keypad guard once, right? You only get to lure them once. So if you lure them and there are civilians there, and if a civilian like appears out of nowhere, like they take a second to leave the room and go onto the stairs. So like if a civilian just appeared, which is entirely possible, you know, and then like you missed it, then you're screwed. So like if you weren't able to like just plant people at the top of the stairs to do it, that would suck. And I'm pretty sure that wasn't the intended way of doing it. But yeah, ultimately I don't really like this challenge. It's not really that painful though, just because of the way that you can do it with the knocking people out and then putting them at the top of the stairs. If that wasn't in the game, this would be easily D tier. Just because it's in the game, I'm putting it in C tier. Do I want to put it in B tier? I might put it in B tier just for originality. It is one of the most unique challenges, like I said. I'm probably gonna keep it in C tier though. Like it's just not like it's just not really good. It's just not good to do. I guess it's kind of cool that it exists, but I haven't really had any fun times with that. So I'm gonna put it in the C tier. Okay, Unshaken Plans. This one I like a lot, mostly because, like I said, I like doing Plan A. So I pretty much just do this challenge like every time I do the deposit allowed, because I just like doing Plan A more. Right, so it's not even really a challenge at this point. It's just like showing the better route, which is why I'm not really sure why it's placed so late. I'm also not really sure why it has legend credibility. Actually, I guess I was talking about it before. I was kind of like the more complex route, so I guess it does make sense that it's legend. But yeah, like I said, to go back to what I was saying before, yeah, about how like sometimes the more complicated or like convoluted route has more benefits, you know. And I think that using Plan A allowed in deposit is a really good example of that, and it's a really good example of a thing in the game. Overall, the challenge isn't that special because it's just like, I mean, it's just do it, you know, it's just do the route, do Plan A. So I'm not sure if I want to put it in S tier. I do think that the deposit allowed overall should be an S tier. I think the deposit allowed is very good. I think that it's like, I like it like almost as much as I like the withdrawal allowed in the game. I think that it was done very well in this game. The remake was very good. Stealth was also remade very well, but Loud in particular was like remade very well in this game. So yeah, overall doing Plan A Loud in the deposit is very fun. Does that mean though that I think the challenge should be an S tier? I mean, just for like replay value. I mean, it is also like necessary to exist. Yeah, you know, I think it's overall good in like pretty much every aspect. I'm gonna put it in S tier. I think it's gonna be our first S tier. I really like Unshaken Plans, you know, and I just really like doing it. So yeah, I'm gonna put it in S tier. It's fun. It's important. Overall, though, I wouldn't have had it like this far listed like late into the challenges. I probably would have put it a little bit earlier on, like probably one of the earlier legend challenges. But yeah, it's really good. I'm putting an S tier. And customer service, I'm putting customer service in F tier too. Actually, this one is really fun. When I first saw it, when I first saw the challenge, when I saw the mission, I was like, oh my god, that's gonna be so annoying. I also didn't realize that it's 30 kills total among your players, or among the players. I thought that it was like 30 each. Like if one person wanted to do the challenge, they would have to get 30 kills. That would fucking suck. If that was the way that it worked, that would be terrible. So I'm really glad they did it the way they did. It's 30 total kills. They definitely made the right choice doing it like that because it's super fun as it is. And the teller desks are not like a good place to camp, so it doesn't like showcase a good way of doing it, right? Because you would never camp at the teller desk aside from this challenge, because they provide very little cover, and it's very easy to get overrun, especially from the sides too if you're not paying attention. Overall, though, it's just really fun to do for this one challenge. You know what I mean? I also really like how hostages still count as kills too. You know, that might seem counterintuitive that I like that because it's kind of a way to cheese the challenge, but it is like it's a way to like use your brain. You know what I mean? You can be like, wait a minute, I don't have to get 30 SWAT kills. I just have to get 30 kills, so I can get 15 kills as hostages, 15 kills from hostages, and then 15 SWAT kills. It's also a good demonstration of how the game or how loud changes among the players. You know, because more players means more SWAT, and I think they do more damage as well. And so I think it's a little easier for them to suppress you. Um, but I'm not 100% sure about those things being the case, but I am 100% sure that they spawn a lot more frequently if there are more players. There's a lot more enemies to kill, and this is a really good way of showcasing that because it kind of provides a benefit and a downside. The downside is there's a lot of enemies. You have to be paying a lot of attention. Every player has to be like on their A game to make sure that you're not getting flanked and overrun. But it also provides a benefit. You can get the 30 kills easier because it's just 30 total kills, right? So the fact that there are more enemies means you can just kill, like more enemies are going to appear faster. So you can get the 30 kills that you need faster, theoretically, if you're playing well. You know what I mean? So it rewards skill. You know what I mean? And that is what challenges should do. So like honestly, this is probably my favorite challenge in the deposit. Like actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put another tier above this, and I'm gonna do this for the other missions that I do as well. I'm gonna add an SS tier, and I'm only gonna put one challenge per mission in the SS tier. This is gonna be like the best challenge in the mission in my personal opinion. And yeah, customer service, in my opinion, is the best. It's the most fun to do. It's the most rewarding, and it just requires a lot of thought. It also requires thought on like whether or not to do Plan A or Plan B. Because even when the challenge originally came out, I saw a lot of discussion about that. People were like, "Oh, I actually think Plan A is better for customer service because even though it's more convoluted, it gives you more visibility because the SWAT are coming from or they're coming through the lobby. You know, if you're using a thermite, it kind of the flames kind of block your visibility a little bit, and that's genuinely like just a really dynamic aspect of the game. You know what I mean? Like I don't think Sish intended that when they added it. I don't think they added the fire to be like, oh, I'm gonna block their visibility when they're doing customer service, but it just does because it's a product of the game and it's really good game design. And I just think, dude, I just have nothing bad to say about customer service. It's just so good. It's such a fun challenge to do. I just do it for fun sometimes. Like genuinely just by myself. I just solo the challenge just for fun. It's just that enjoyable to do. And I think that it's really good that it's in the game. It's like probably the best example of one that's testing your skill. You know what I mean? And for that reason I think it deserves SS tier. It deserves to be in the best. Alright, so next we got personal style. I like personal style. I think it's good. I think it's a good. This is a challenge because, like, unlike an entry point, actually, before I even say that, I want to talk about something that's said in like the operator's demo tutorial. Everyone that's played entry point Freelancer's Cut should probably have played the operator's demo first because it's like a tutorial for this entire engine. It's not just a tutorial for operators; it's a tutorial for this whole engine, right? So it's really good that that exists, and it's really good that in the tutorial of that game, um, in the stealth tutorial, the operator tells you not to rely on disguises that much because they won't fool everyone. And it's really good that in this game, unlike in the original entry point, disguises aren't like, not only are they just like a free pass into like basically everything, but they're also not even like necessary sometimes. Like sometimes getting a disguise is not even the best way to do the mission, and it's like perfectly viable to do it without one. And that's why I think personal style is a really good way of doing it, even though that it is kind of difficult. Like for a beginner, again, it's like it's not the more simple route, but it can be the more rewarding route. You know what I mean? And that's why I think it's really good that's in the game. I don't know if I'm gonna put it in S tier. I don't know if I'm gonna put it in S tier. I'll put it in A tier though. I think it's a great challenge. I think it's great. It's fun to do as well. It's not like annoying. In original entry point, no disguise runs were not fun at all because the majority of it was just waiting for the guard to go here so that you can lure them. A lot of the time, you couldn't even just lure them from the spot they were at. You had to wait for them to like start walking away so that you could like continue luring more guards from the same spot because of spot locking. First of all, spot locking is not even a thing in this game, which is great. But like, yeah, it's just really fun to do. It's just overall like another thing that they made very well in comparison to the original entry point. So yeah, I'm gonna put personal style in A tier. Resourceful Robber, like I said, kind of just a better way of doing budget operation. I think it's just a better way of doing this. Honestly, I think it could have been made better if it was literally just like bring nothing. I think instead of bring a weapon, it should have just been bring nothing. That would require more brain activity as well, because you can do it with nothing, and you can do it consistently with nothing. There's a drill in the mission that you can get to, and that would even be good to come after personal style because it helps. You know, the knowledge that you get from personal style helps you in Resourceful Robber because you have to get the drill from the mission first. You know, you can't get into the basement as easily without it. So it helps you to know how you can navigate the mission without a disguise, um, so that you can get the drill, right? Overall, though, I think again, it just you didn't really. I don't know though. I mean, not bringing anything is kind of just like I don't know. That might be annoying for new players. It's probably better this way. Now that I think about it, like I'm kind of just like a try hard. I've always been a try hard when it comes to entry point and entry point freelancers because so I think it makes sense that they made it. Don't bring anything other than a weapon. Overall, though, I don't think I'm gonna put it in A tier. I'll put it in D. All right, and this is the last one. I kind of honestly breezed through these. This actually, I went through this a lot faster than I thought I would. I hope that I said everything that I wanted to say. Um, yeah, Undisturbed Occupants, the last challenge. In my opinion, the hardest challenge. I think it's very good. I think it's very good. I think it's the best stealth challenge in the mission. Maybe what I should do is have a one loud challenge and one stealth challenge in here. I don't know though, because there might be a case where the stealth challenge or the loud challenge is just significantly better than the best of the other tactics, so it wouldn't really make sense to put them in the same tier. So I'm probably not gonna do that. But if I were to do that, Undisturbed Occupants would probably go in here as well because I think it's the second best challenge. I think it's very good. It definitely is like the ultimate test of skill, which is why it's really good that it's the last one. It tests your knowledge about the mission. It makes you do things that you wouldn't normally do, like or I mean, you maybe not that you wouldn't normally do them, but like you maybe haven't done them until this point, like using the hack to lure the vault keypad guard, or using social engineering too to lure or make the distract the other guards in the basement. It's good that like I actually use both of those things from time to time, depending on the run that I'm doing. You know what I mean? So like it's really good that this challenge is in the game. It's just really fun to do. It's a really good test of skill and knowledge, and overall, like, there's not much bad that I can say about it. I think it's a really good challenge. Um, and I'm gonna put it in the S tier. So there you go. This is the deposit challenge tier list. I'll be uploading this, and then I'll probably record the financer and the withdrawal today as well. I might record the withdrawal tomorrow, but yeah, I'm gonna be uploading this now. Hopefully, you enjoyed this. Feel free to say in the comments if you disagreed with any of these placements. I would absolutely love to hear other opinions on this. I would love for this to become like a thing that people do. Like I really want people to like start making tier lists for challenges. I don't want to be the only person that does this. I think this would be a really cool trend to have people in the community do. But yeah, this is mine. Um, and yeah, I guess that's about all I need to say for this. So thanks for watching.